This trading strategy is getting tons of comments and views on YouTube, so I decided to turn this strategy into code and backtest it over years of data. And in today's video, I will be breaking down what this strategy is, how I turn it into code, and the results of this trading strategy. Let me just say you will be surprised at the results of this strategy. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So this strategy is by Deevestment. She's on YouTube, and basically what she claims is that this strategy of hers is a high probability system that you can trade every single day to increase your chances of being profitable. Now, if you watch her entire video, you'll realize that there is no live trade recaps at all, and all her examples were just drawings on the chart with fake candles. So that alone makes me skeptical about this strategy. That's why I decided to turn this into code and backtest it to verify her claims. And I think that's what a lot of people should do, which is to verify the claims of these trading influencers. Like, you don't want to just take their word for it that their strategy is profitable. You want to backtest it over a large sample size and years of data. Usually I backtest over 10 years of data. And not only that, is you want to see if they have a live track record. How can you trust somebody to teach you how to trade if they don't even have a live track record that anybody can click and verify their results? It just doesn't make sense. And also, it doesn't make sense that if you're actually a profitable trader, why not just link your broker to a third-party verification so that anybody can see that you are profitable, and that way you can easily build trust with people you're trying to sell to. And obviously this person doesn't have a verified track record, or if she does, I couldn't find one. And I don't understand how these people are able to sell a trading course or a trading mentorship without a verified track record. But anyway, enough of the rant, let's get back to the video. I turned this strategy into code, and this is how the code looks like. By the way, I built this strategy on Profactors AI, so if you are trying to learn how to trade, do check them out, as they have tutorials on how to create strategies like this using a no-code solution. Okay, so now let me break down the strategy's rules on TradingView. So the first rule that for this strategy is that we are waiting for the first M15 candle to close. And by the way, this is on US tech, or rather NQ, right? So in the video, she didn't say which instrument we are trading this strategy on, but I assumed it's on NQ because she said like something along the lines of waiting for 9:30 candle to close. And also I watched the other videos and she talked about QQQ, so I'm just assuming, I'm making a logical assumption that this strategy is on US tech. Okay, so anyway, we wait for the first M15 candle to close. So over here, I marked out the M15 candle. And then we are looking to mark out its high and its low. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, the next step is to wait for the M5 to break out of the M15 range. So if we go to the M5 now, we are waiting for... So now on the M5, you can see that price broke out of the M15's range. And for this breakout, we want a clear, strong candle like this. So we want there to be more bodies than wicks. For example, we don't want, just an example, we don't want this kind of candle where it's just like a wick and no bodies at all. So that's what we want. We want the M5 to close outside of the range, the M15 range. And once that is fulfilled, we go on to the next step. So the next step is we wait for the M1 to pull back to the range. So now we are on the M1 time frame and we are waiting for price to pull back towards the range. Okay, so if I zoom in clearly, you can see that the M1 has pulled back to the range. And that's the third step of this strategy. And finally, for the last step of this strategy is we are waiting for the M1 confirmation. So the M1 confirmation is basically a large engulfing candle, like this one, for example. So once we get a large engulfing candle like this, we enter on the next candle with a 1.5 risk to reward and our stop loss slightly above the high of the previous candle. And in this case, let's see how it plays out. So in this case, price hit our take profit, and this is basically the strategy. So essentially, that is what the strategy is. These are the rules of the strategy, and I've just shown you a trade example of it. So yeah, I built this strategy with Profectus AI. Now let's export it to test this algorithm in MT5. Okay, so now we are on MT5 and I'm going to run the algo on MT5 and show you this algorithm taking trades as per the strategy I explained on TradingView. So that to prove that I'm not just creating any strategy, I'm actually creating the one that she said. So let's run it now. Okay, so now this is the algorithm playing out. This big white candle is the 9:30 a.m. candle and it has just closed. So on the M1, we can see this blue line. That's the high of the M15 candle. So step 1 done. Now let's do step 2, which is to wait for the M5 to close strongly above the M15's high or low. So let's run it forward. Over here, price hasn't closed above the line yet, so so we're not going to do anything right now. And we just continue to wait. Okay, so we entered a trade here and let me break it down. On the M5, you can see this strong bullish candle that closed above M15's high. So that means step 2 is done and we move on to step 3 and step 4, which is to look at the M1 chart. So on the M1 chart, you can see this blue line being broken and price came back down to retest the M15's high, and then we get a very strong bullish candle. So that is why this trade was entered. So let's see how it played out. We have our stop loss below the low of this candle that retouched the M15's high, and then we have our take profit at 1.5 hours. So for this particular trade, we hit take profit over here and that was a nice 1.5 hours. And if you look at the bottom left, you can see our balance went up from 100k to 101500. So now let me show you another trade example that happened on the next day. Okay, so this is going to be the second example to show you that the bot is really working well and it's not just some random strategy that only worked once. I mean, the bot is working well, but I don't know if the strategy is working well, so just a disclaimer. But anyway, you can see that this doji looking candle is the 9:30 a.m. candle. So that's step 1. And step 2 is we wait for price to close below the low of this candle or above the high of this candle on the M5 chart. So this is going to be the strong candle that breaks out of the low. Now we are on the M1. Ignore this blue line. The line that is the low is supposed to be somewhere around, I think it's this one that is here, but I didn't draw this low. So anyway, let's just wait and see price retest the low and then come down to give us an entry. Okay, so over here you can see that price has retested this low and closed with a nice bearish engulfing candle. So we put our stop loss above the high and I'll take profit at 1.5 hours. And let's play it forward. So in this case, we got stopped out over here. Completely valid, but yeah, so that is the strategy and that is the algorithm taking trades as per the strategy. So now let's do a full 10-year test of this strategy and see how it performed. So over here you can see that I've loaded up the entire history from 2015 all the way to 2026 and let's run it. Okay, so this is the full backtest of this strategy over the last 10 years or more. This is from 2015. So you can see we started at 100k and we ended up at 73k. And this is the full backtest report. So overall, the strategy is not profitable. This only has a profit factor of 0.86. We need a profit factor of above 1 to consider it break even, and anything above 1.2 is considered good. And like I mentioned at the start of the video, she claimed that this strategy has a high win rate, but the backtest tells a very different story, and you can see the percentage of total profit trade, in other words, is the win rate of this strategy, is only 36.83%, not high enough for a 1.5R risk to reward strategy. So the number of trades it took was 372 trades over 10 years, which means that it does not take a trade every single day like what she claims. So that is all for this video. This strategy doesn't work, and if you are going to take anything away from this video, is always verify the claims made by these trading influencers giving strategies out. If you want an opening range breakout strategy that works, click the link in my description and you'll get to see the trades that my opening range breakout strategy takes. It's 10-year backtest report and how profitable it is. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a comment if you want to see me test another person's strategy and to see if it actually works. See you guys in the next video.